Now it's time for Movie Friends with your hosts Michelle and Seth. We're talking film without pretension. We're finding cats that are unexpected. We'll watch a movie, film, or schmovie, and we want you to join our journey. So subscribe and share this podcast, or this might just be the last of the Movie Friends. We're movie friends. We want to be your movie friends.
Hey, welcome to Movie Friends. I'm here with my friend Seth Vargas, who is loved by Rome.
And I'm here with my friend Michelle Rubenstein, who is putting her hand in the fig box.
Oh, yes.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. I do love figs, though.
Oh, God. You want to take a fig, put it on a crostini with some goat cheese and some honey?
Yep.
And it's the best.
It's
the
so
best
good.
thing. Nothing else.
Delicious.
Anyway, what's going on?
How are you? You had some interview this past weekend.
Had a big interview and got some bigger interviews coming.
Mm-hmm.
We're winding down on documentary production and heading into the editing phase.
Wow.
So, very exciting.
How you feeling? Give us a check-in.
Great. I feel great.
You do?
Yeah, I picked which wall of my living room is going to be my big wall.
I love a big wall.
So for every cut, I'm going to screen grab, print it, and then put it on my big wall. So it's like not refined at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll put all of my scenes on the wall, and if I can tell the story by those images and it all makes sense, yeah. So got my big wall picked out.
I love it. I got chills when you said you were going to make a big wall. I just want a big wall of everything I'm doing in life. I'm such a visual, tangible, need to hold the thing in person. So
yeah. I'm very comfortable working on a computer. You know, got your keyboard shortcuts. You got your two monitors. I'm fine with that. But I know for the amount of material that I have for this documentary, I need a big wall.
I want a picture of you in front of the big wall.
Oh, there will be a picture.
We need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's going on with you?
Well, you know, this is a big episode. It's a big episode. So, frankly, nothing is going on with me except for Cleopatra from 1963 and Cleopatra, the actual historical figure, and trying to cram it all in, to be honest with you. And then to give my brain a break, I'm watching Big Brother season 4. So
very good.
That's where I'm at in life currently.
You've been in the Cleopatra trenches, and I was talking to you about this month and how normally on this show, dear listener, we don't dive too far into behind the scenes stuff or Hollywood gossip, because it seems like most movie podcasts, it's like 50% of the discussion is on that. You know, we like to talk about the content of the film. And then this month has just been like crazy, way more reading and research and thinking and note assembly than I think we've ever done in this show.
This is the most amount of work I've done in 1 month, minus our live show prep.
Oh, well, of course.
Because that was like multiple months we put those together.
Yeah. We wrote every line of those. Yeah.
Yes. But for a single episode between this and The Wizard of Oz and the fact that both of these movies took place in the same month, I honestly feel like I'm back in college.
Yeah. These are like our final presentations.
Crazy.
Before our winter break. We are taking off December, folks. So great time to go through our back catalog. But I mean, realistically, like new episodes are still going to be coming out. You know, like whenever we take a break, it's like we only put out 7 episodes this month, and that's like our break. Right. But for the main show, we are going to be taking off the month of December. And so it's like we are just cramming for these ginormous movies and like the crazy stuff that goes on behind the scenes on them.
Yeah.
And even coffee, like last week with coffee, I gave like a 10-minute rundown of like American movie history in order to talk about that movie. I went to edit it and I was like, I think I talked for 10 minutes straight. Oh my God.
I just sat here like the good pupil I am. And I'm like, let's hear it, Seth. I'm here for your presentation.
I need to get some random sound bites of you to just have on hand of you saying things like astounding,
riveting,
go on,
wow, please expand more. Speaking of things we're expanding on, our merch shop is up.
Yes, very exciting.
It's very exciting. So if you need ideas for holiday presents and you're wondering, or your family and friends are asking you, like, what can I get you? And you're enjoying our podcast and you want to support us, just send the link. We have cool stuff and it's expanding. Like, we're adding new stuff, what feels like every day at this point.
And if you're listening to us and you're like, I don't really like them, there's just kind of general movie stuff going up. Like, it's not all shirts with Michelle and Mai's face on it. Mai's face. Wow.
But you know you want that, kind of.
I would feel weird about that.
Yeah, me too.
But anyway, I think we just stop podcasting and just make T-shirts full time.
I think we should do that and then write movies for the asylum. That's our career now.
Please, anyone at the asylum, we're ready.
We're so ready.
We can write a movie in 2 weeks. We've listened to your philosophy. We want to write movies for you.
It's really true though, because I'm so curious. Like, if you put Seth and I sequestered for a weekend, we would pump out so much material. It would be
I think
insane.
we'd at least be able to have a very good foundation for a movie. Definitely.
Yeah.
If you're wondering what we're talking about, go back and listen to our episode of Sharknado.
Right.
And the film production company, The Asylum.
Yeah.
Hey, we got an email.
Email.
Subject line is Wizard of Oz.
Ooh.
And it says, on our drive to Michigan, we listened to the Wizard of Oz episode. I didn't know any of those things from behind the scenes. When I was a kid, they showed it every year, and most families watched it. The thing that freaked me out most was the flying monkeys, maybe because their faces looked more human. Anyway, thanks, Seth, for all your research. I now feel I have an elementary education in all things Oz. Had I known then of all the injustice, even as a kid, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed the movie. P.S. Really funny stuff about Jimmy the Raven. And then laugh cry emoji, bird emoji, money emoji.
Wow. Good stuff.
I wonder if anyone else felt this way. Like, oh no, now I can't enjoy the Wizard of Oz. Well, folks, you can enjoy the Wizard of Oz, okay? You weren't there. You didn't do the bad stuff.
Hey, who is that email from?
This email's from my mom, believe it or not.
This is Vargas, one of my favorite people on this planet. Thank you. So before we get into our discussion on Cleopatra, Seth and I are going to write down what we think the other is going to rate this movie. And what's really funny about this, Seth, is that I have thought so much about this movie. I have done all the research, right? I have not thought about what I'm going to rate it. Until I sat down and turned on my mic and the computer, and I was like, oh no. Anyway, do with that as you will.
I feel pretty good. I'm ready.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I'm locked in.
I'm locked in too, I guess.
Not confident.
I'm like looking at it and it's like, why'd you write that? Not good. All right, today we are talking about Cleopatra from 1963. Directed by Joseph L. Mankiewicz, written by Joseph L. Mankiewicz, Ronald McDougall, and Sidney Buckman, edited by Dorothy Spencer, cinematography by Leon Shamroy, composed by Alex North, and costume design by Irene Shariff, Vittorio Nino Novaresi, and Renee. Starring Elizabeth Taylor, Rex Harrison, Richard Burton, Martin Landau, and Roddy McDowell. Seth, read us our summary to get us started.
In the opulent world of ancient Egypt, one woman wields her beauty and brilliance as power. She ascends the throne determined to protect her kingdom, but her fate becomes entwined with two of Rome's most powerful men, Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. What begins as political strategy transforms into passion, loyalty, and betrayal. In the end, kingdoms crumble, hearts break, and legends are born, all in the name of Cleopatra.
I want to know, how often do you think about the Roman Empire?
Oh my gosh. Remember when this was going around? And
of course I do. That's why I'm asking.
Never. Almost never. Almost never. I mean, very rarely. I mean, if you're thinking about ancient history, I suppose. But no, I don't think about the Roman Empire often.
It's so funny because I remember when this was a trend and you would ask like it was like a video trend on TikTok or on Instagram. It's like, ask your boyfriend and husband, how often do they think about the Roman Empire? And then I asked Ant and he was like, oh yeah, pretty frequently. I was like, oh, you're a part of it. What?
Yeah.
And then it became a thing of like, okay, the Roman Empire, quote unquote, is the thing that you think about and obsess about.
Right. So what is your Roman Empire?
Right. So my Roman Empire last summer was Elizabeth Taylor.
You know what my Roman Empire is?
What? Movies?
Pogs. I think about Pogs all the time. And you know what? Playing Pogs in the early 90s, maybe the happiest I ever was in my life. And maybe that's why it's my Roman Empire. But
Pogs were so great. I had a sparkly frog slammer.
We also was it what's the word? Holographic? Where
yes.
We had the same one.
Stop it.
Yep.
I wish I had that. I wish I still had that.
Yeah. Anyway, you were on a big Elizabeth Taylor kick.
Yeah.
How? Why?
How? Why? Right. I still ask myself this question. Last summer, August 2024, I turn on HBO and the documentary Elizabeth Taylor, The Lost Tapes appears on my feed. So I'm like, oh, I'll watch this. I like documentaries. And as soon as it started, I was like completely enthralled with hearing Elizabeth Taylor talk about her life. And what I liked about this documentary is it's journalist Richard Merriman, and he is interviewing Elizabeth Taylor in a very conversational way and just recording her audio. And these lost tapes, if you will, were recently found. And so this documentary was put together. And so from there, I just tried to find every podcast I could about her. I listened to Elizabeth Taylor, The Grit and Glamour of an Icon. It's the authorized biography of her by Kate Anderson Bauer. It's over 500 pages long.
Jeez.
15 hours of listening time, and I consumed it. I was just like obsessed with the person that she was, or I am obsessed with the person that she was. And then I realized I've never actually seen one of her greatest films. And the only film I've seen of hers is The Flintstones.
Right.
Which, like, are you serious?
Yep.
And so like a year went by of me still like reading about her and learning about her, but still never watched any of her movies. And so a couple of months ago, I pitched to Seth. I was like, I'm kind of interested in watching Cleopatra. This is a big film of hers. You know, her infamous affair with Richard Burton started on this movie. There's a lot to this. However, it's 4 hours long. And I don't know necessarily if you'll do it for the show, but you're a movie guy, so will you watch this with me? And you were like, yeah, because pretty much Seth will do anything with you if you ask him.
Don't tell people that, but it's true.
No, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
No, it's true. Like if someone's like, hey, yeah, and I'm like, yes. I'm extremely busy.
I know.
But yes, I will do anything that anyone tells me or asks me to do ever. Yes.
And so we came up with this theme for November. We were going to do like women from the 20th century. And then you were like, if you want, Cleopatra fits in this.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, okay, this is a big commitment, but now is the time. So yeah, that's my Elizabeth Taylor journey as of now. But what is your history and relationship with Elizabeth Taylor?
As a child, I remember the first two movies that I saw in theaters. One was The Lion King, but maybe a month or two, and I've checked the release dates to make sure this is true. Earlier than that was The Flintstones. And so it is possible that that is the first movie that I ever saw in theaters. And of course, Elizabeth Taylor plays Fred's mother-in-law, I believe. She
Yeah.
like hates him or something. Yeah.
Yep.
And then I've really not seen a lot of her movies, but I have seen Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, which
I want to see that so bad now.
oh, knowing everything that you know about her and Richard Burton, and they made many movies together, right? They begin an affair on Cleopatra, they end up getting married, divorced, married again. Anyway, knowing everything that you know about them, this movie will probably like knock your socks off. Like it's so great.
Do you think it's a movie we'd ever cover on the show?
Definitely.
Or should I? Oh, okay.
Definitely.
So I'll save it. Maybe I should save it.
Well, just watch it if you want to.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
That's true. That's true.
You can watch it again. but it's great. And that was the first performance of hers that I saw that I really was conscious of and absorbing as it's happening. And it's incredible. I mean, she won Best Actress that year for that role. But that's it. I mean, I haven't seen Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. I haven't seen her like younger movies, and now this.
Yeah.
And this is like such a massive movie. This is the longest movie that we've ever done on this show, which
How
I was
funny
really
is that?
astounded to see. I know. Like the Indian movies that we did, they're long. They're long movies, but nothing holds a candle to Cleopatra.
It's comical because if you're new here, I am not the movie person.
Mm-hmm.
I also kind of have an aversion to long movies. And
Mm-hmm.
yet, my pick is the longest movie we've ever done.
Yeah. The heart wants what it wants. I mean, you have to follow your interest.
That's absolutely true. And I am definitely a person who does that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is a different one for many reasons, Cleopatra, and to talk about it, because usually when one of us is hosting, they go off and they do all the behind the scenes research and they bring it to the table and we teach the other person, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This one, though, I feel we both consumed so much behind the scenes of the production of this film, but we didn't actually talk about how we felt about the actual film.
The actual film, right.
So I say that all to say, obviously, listeners, I want to very quickly summarize some of the behind the scenes production history for you, but I do encourage you, if you're interested in film history and you know a little bit about this, definitely go out and dive into all of the behind the scenes of the production, because there is so much and it is mind-blowing. And I think out of everything we've covered and everything I've done on my own in terms of like learning about behind the scenes stuff and how the sausage is made, this by far blows it out of the water for me.
Yeah. Well, there's an element to the behind the scenes stuff on Cleopatra that goes beyond like, isn't this interesting? Or here's this weird thing that happened. And that element is madness.
Yeah.
There is an insanity behind all of the decisions that were made. This movie originally had a $2 million budget, and it was allowed to balloon to 33, 41.
Right. 41 million.
From 2 million. Right. One of the things is they spent $100,000 on paper cups.
And then asked everyone on set, hey, can you please share your paper cups?
Mm-hmm. Because they have so many extras and so many employees just for drinking water. They spent $100,000 in 1961 or 2.
Right.
So how much is that today? Can you even imagine? So we'll talk about some of the stuff here, but I do think that this is one of the Hollywood stories that's worth digging into. There's so many lessons to be learned.
Yeah.
As people who are interested in film, but I honestly think just as people, like the human nature that's on display in the decisions being made, the mania surrounding Elizabeth Taylor, Richard Burton, but also like 20th Century Fox and how they really put 99% of everything on this movie. It's I I just kept texting Michelle like random stuff, and I was like, I can't believe what I'm hearing. Like I it's crazy. It's crazy.
Seth was sending me texts like, I might have to stop listening to The Plot Thickens.
Yeah.
Listen to that season on Cleopatra, hosted by Ben Mankiewicz, who is the great nephew of Joe Mankiewicz.
Yeah.
But Seth just kept texting me saying, I think I need to stop listening. I'm so stressed out.
Yes, it was actually, yeah. I didn't need to stop just because Ben Mankiewicz and I had a major viral fight on Twitter.
Would you like to tell your story, or is that for another day?
I wish him well.
Okay.
Okay. I wish him well, and I think that time will tell.
Oh my God.
Which of us is right and which of us is wrong. But again, to reiterate, we don't normally spend this much time talking about behind the scenes stuff on this show. So if this is your first time listening somehow, although I wouldn't be surprised, because I got to tell you, apart from like deep dive behind the scene podcasts, not very many people have covered this movie.
I know.
Partially because, and I won't comment on this now, but it's considered to be a not very good movie.
Right.
So people kind of look at it as like, well, it's really just the behind the scenes stuff. The movie is boring and we don't really need to think about it, which kind of blows my mind.
Same. It blows my mind too.
Yeah.
Okay. So it all starts with producer Walter Wenger, who, by the way, like, this is another thing, like, talk about details who have sub details. His whole story is fascinating because he shot his wife was having an affair with her agent, and so she shot him, and he went to jail, and he shot him, I should say.
Yeah, he shot the agent, yeah.
And he went to jail. Anyway, he sets out to make a biographical film about Cleopatra. And so he pitches it to multiple studios, and finally 20th Century Fox, who at the time is struggling and desperate for a hit, agrees to back this project.
They do it because they're like, look through what scripts do we have, or what property, or what, and they had made, there was a Cleopatra film made like years and years, and so it was just like Cleopatra.
Yeah.
And that's the idea. That's it. That's all that they had.
Right. So so they have the 1917 silent film version. Mm-hmm. And he also purchases the film rights of The Life and Times of Cleopatra by Carlo Maria Franzero. And Fox is just like, hey, take the silent film version, just rework that a little bit, and pump it out super quick. Let's make it for $1 million and we're good to go.
Right.
They thought this was like in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
They need a director. So Wenger approaches Alfred Hitchcock, which I got a big laugh about, and he declines. So Ruben Mamoulian is hired. And then for the role of Cleopatra, so many actresses were thought of, and 20th Century Fox is like, we'll just use the actresses we have on contract. We don't have to go super expensive. But Wenger wanted Elizabeth Taylor. He had it in his mind. And so he kept asking her and asking her and asking her. And her final answer, and this is like infamous, she jokingly responds with saying that she'll do it for $1 million plus 10% of the gross. Mm-hmm. And like Seth said, the budget is like $2 million, $3 million at this point.
Right.
But somehow this gets accepted. Elizabeth Taylor's brought on for that. And she then goes and works out her contract and demands more, like $3,000 a week living expenses, 2 penthouses, to have her family and doctor fly first class. Mm-hmm. to have her hairdresser on set.
Yep.
Also to have like final say of director and script. And so going back to what I said of how I discovered Elizabeth Taylor and the doc I watched, when I heard her say that she negotiated this, that's what really made me feel like just enamored by this person of who is this to do this.
Right.
She just gets out of her contract with MGM and now she's set on her own. She could start making deals. And like, what a deal to make.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane.
Yep. And she's a huge name at this time, not only for acting, but for her life. And like,
yeah,
the husband that she's with at this time, right, when this deal is made,
Eddie Fisher.
She's married to Eddie Fisher because her husband and his best friend died in a plane crash that she was supposed to be on. So there's a lot of parts of her life that are kind of larger than life and very, very interesting. And so there's this buzz around her.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not just like we are hiring her for her talent. And that's not to say that she's not talented, but there is a media machine kind of that comes along with her, right? And I think it was the head of 20th Century Fox. They sent out a survey to like theater owners and said, who do you want to see as Cleopatra? And they gave options, and everyone was like Elizabeth Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
So the head of the guy, he's like, all right, I guess we'll pay her $1 million.
Right. Yeah. So we get Elizabeth Taylor. We have our director. We still don't have a set script though.
Oh my God.
Which is like the most mind-boggling thing maybe of this whole story. Like,
yeah. Yes. If you don't know anything about making movies, friends, you have to have a script. You cannot start shooting without a script unless you're making like an improvisational, comedic movie. But even those, like even if you look at, like Best in Show or whatever, they still write those movies. They have an idea of where they're going. With this, oh my God. This was the part that just like made me crazy, because all of this stuff happens just on an idea. Cleopatra starring Elizabeth Taylor. No script.
And then John DeCure.
Oh God.
Sweet John DeCure is brought on to start visualizing what the film will look like.
Yes. Accomplished, set creator and creative person who's trusted and knows what they're doing, and they're just like build stuff.
And so he does. He builds stuff in Hollywood on the back lot of 20th Century Fox.
Mm-hmm,
okay, great. Then they move to London.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to start working there because it was cheaper to do so and we can work with people there.
Yep.
But like, you are making a movie about ancient Rome and Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
Yet we think London is a good idea.
Right.
And the weather obviously didn't cooperate and it ruined a lot of the outdoor sets.
Right. It's insane because nowadays you would say, we're going to go film in London. There's tax breaks. That's partially why they went there, right?
Right.
Okay. And you film all of your inside stuff there, and then you go somewhere else. Instead, they were like, well, if we can't do all of it in London, we're just going to destroy everything and start again.
Which is
insane.
And so filming begins in September of 1960. However, Elizabeth Taylor is sick.
Yeah. I'm laughing because this is a 3-year movie anyway.
I know. She's sick. And so they can't figure out what's wrong with her. She has sore throat. She has a cold. It ends up turning into a toothache. Then it turns into meningitis. Then it ends up turning into pneumonia.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, progress on the film has to be halted. We can't film anymore because we filmed everything we filmed already. We filmed everything we needed to film without Elizabeth Taylor, and we need her for the rest. And so after 16 weeks and $7 million spent, only 10 minutes of usable footage existed. And Fox was real pissed off about this. So they blamed Mamoulian, who was the director, and so they got rid of him.
It's insane.
It's insane.
How many weeks?
16 weeks.
16 weeks and 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Plus, on top of that, like not only because Elizabeth couldn't be there, but also the weather impacted this because of England rain and all of the things.
Mm-hmm.
So February 1961, Joseph L. Mankiewicz, he's brought on. And Elizabeth Taylor, she, like we said, she got final say, and she worked with him previously on Suddenly last summer. So things are all good. He only agrees to direct if he could also write the film.
Because he's thinking, they're going to let me write the movie.
Of course.
Before I make it. And I loved what he said. He said, why would I direct Cleopatra? I wouldn't even go see Cleopatra.
I know.
Because he didn't make these big
epics
movies. He makes dialogue. He had won like 2 Oscars for Best Adapted Screenplay and Best Director. Mm-hmm. And he made like dialogue movies and character-driven movies, not big epic. I mean, it's as funny as Hitchcock doing this.
Correct. Correct. And so he's working on the script. He gets to London. He sees the sets, hates them, absolutely hates them. Elizabeth Taylor also agreed she didn't like them. So production relocates to Cinecittà Studios in Rome. So now this is the 3rd time that John DeCure has to now rebuild the sets for Cleopatra. What? This is crazy.
I cannot imagine being this guy.
And these are not like little dinky sets. These are like extravagant.
Right.
Like, you know, Roman forums and columns and oh my goodness. Like watching the destruction of the London sets like actually pained me.
Yeah, it does make you like ill. And they lose actors because it's taking so long. There's a different Julius Caesar. There was a different Mark Antony. There was a different pretty much everybody. They lose their director. And the one constant is John DeCure, who's like, I'll keep making stuff, whatever. I'm getting paid. I don't care.
John DeCure and Elizabeth Taylor, right?
Right.
And Elizabeth Taylor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so, so by September 1961, Elizabeth Taylor is good to go. Rex Harrison is brought on to portray Julius Caesar. Richard Burton is brought on to portray Mark Antony. We still don't have a final script. And so Mankiewicz continues to write as he directs, and he does it like in order. So they can't ever shoot out of order because we're still waiting for the script to be written.
Which is another movie making no that it is defied occasionally. Sometimes a director will say, I want to shoot in order because I want the actors to whatever. Or maybe it just works out. Okay, we're going to shoot in order. But generally, when you're orchestrating thousands of extras, right, on all this stuff, you shoot when you are able. You schedule it and you make it make sense. And so doing this, like doing Cleopatra in order. Without knowing exactly where you're going. I think it was Rex Harrison who said, it was either Rex Harrison or Richard Burton, but in an interview with him, they were like, I agreed to do it. I never saw a script. I didn't read anything
Rex Harrison,
before arriving.
That was.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That is bonkers crazy.
It's insane. Also, and I don't know if, we could talk about this as we go on or what you think if you don't have the answer, but Mankiewicz, at the end of filming, wanted this to be 2 films.
Correct.
Do you think during writing that was his plan all along?
I don't know. And I heard 2 conflicting reports. I tend to go with so the podcast that we referred to earlier is called The Plot Thickens. It's put out by TCM, Turner Classic Movies, hosted by Ben Mankiewicz. I tend to kind of go more with them than some of the other things that I heard.
Yeah.
But and also I will be honest with you people listening. There is so much here that I kind of, some of the details were a little fuzzy.
Right. That's why I'm asking you.
Right. I think I heard that earlier on in the process, Mankiewicz was like, this is 2 movies because it's first the Julius Caesar story and then the Mark Antony story, and Cleopatra is, the overarching. But I agree with Mankiewicz. I do think that this should have been 2 movies.
I don't know. It's tough to say, right? Like, could that have happened if we didn't have the affair between Burton and Taylor happen?
Right.
And if like production didn't bloom so out of control where we needed to get this out so fast, because the studio was like, no, we need to put this out as soon as possible. Like, we're losing money here. And also Liz and Richard are together now. What happens if the second part comes out and they're not together?
But they didn't have the foresight to think if they break up, then people are going to want to see it even more.
That's what
because
I
that's
thought.
More controversy.
That's
to
what
me,
I thought.
like, again, there's that little bit of madness in every decision that just defies all logic. You've spent $40 million on one movie. Guess what? Put them out 3 months apart.
Right.
You don't need to wait a year. There's no special effects, right? And so if you're going to edit them, put the first one out, even if, because the fear, I feel like I'm talking to you and then I'm talking to the people listening.
No, same.
I have to keep switching gears.
Same.
But dear listener, the fear was no one's going to go see the first half because Rex Harrison and Elizabeth Taylor aren't having an affair in real life. So people are just going to wait and see the second one. But even if a quarter of your audience saw the first one that would see the second one, you're still making an extra 25%. How do you not do that? How do you not do that?
And because of this, there was over 6 hours of film shot. So then it had to be condensed into into 3 hours and then finally 4 hours of what the version you and I watch and what's available. I would have loved to have seen the 6-hour version.
Me too.
Because I think it would fill in a lot of things. I'll say this just to wrap up our behind the scenes stuff for now, because this also blew my mind. Filming wraps. Zanuck, the former studio head of 20th Century Fox, he co-founded Fox in 1933. He comes on because Spiro Skouros, who's the head of Fox at the time, they're like so pissed at him for this budget getting so out of hand. So Zanuck comes back. He fires Mankiewicz. As Mankiewicz is editing because he doesn't like the cut.
Yep.
And then Zanuck hires him back.
Yep.
Because they want to do reshoots and they both came to this agreement that like a couple of the scenes should be redone.
They fire him and then they rehire him as he's about to leave on his honeymoon.
Yes.
And when I heard that after hearing everything that Joe Mankiewicz went through, I was just like, this is just it's unreal how horrible of a story this is.
To go back to the top, Walter Wanger was also fired. Yes. Producer, the guy who had the idea, was fired but stayed on.
Kept working.
On his own accord because he just wanted to see this film come to completion, and he never made another film after this. This was it. And then Mankiewicz, who had so many health issues, and he was on like the Judy Garland diet of being pumped drugs to stay awake and then pumped drugs to fall asleep. He did a couple of films after, but really never recovered. So, like, holy moly.
I mean, at one point, one of the sets that they were using had landmines hidden from World War II.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So this isn't just like, like Michelle and I are giving you guys like the snippet version of this. There are so many details. And like, truly, like, I said to Michelle, I was like, okay, if you and I recorded an episode, and then somehow we lost that. And then we were like, all right, we got to record it again. And we lost that one. I got to tell you, we're giving up. We're like, well, I guess we're never covering that movie, and we got to move on. And the amount of times that these people just did not give up and kept going, but it's not admirable. Like I don't see the behind the scenes of this story as like, wow, they stuck it out and they really did it. It's just like, why did they not cut their losses, take it as a loss? They could have taken this movie as a $5 million loss and just be done with it.
Right. I mean, what I kept asking myself is like the costume detailing, like painting with gold, spending so much money on wigs, yet most of the wigs were covered by helmets.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so we're just like spending money to spend money.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you spiral at that point, and there's no stopping. It's like being caught in a lie, and you keep the lie going. That's what it's like. That's what it seems like.
Yeah. And again, without a script.
It's
not even like the studio head is like, I believe in this story. I've read it. I know that it will be great. It's literally just like they're still going. Like they're out in the desert somewhere, and Joe Mankiewicz is writing every night after he's directing all day. 10 months straight, I think. They said he was directing and writing.
Yes. Yes.
So it's just like they'll figure it out and hopefully people come see it. Yeah.
The actual film, though, what'd you think?
Pretty good.
Same. Episode over.
Yeah, I mean, there's something about the length of a movie that when you pass the 3-hour mark, it becomes less of something that you experience and it becomes more of an experience. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's like you're in it and you're like, this is not over. It's still not over. Oh my God, it's still not over. I thought to myself of the song, this is the song that never ends. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is the movie that never ends. And I've seen plenty of movies this length. I've seen movies longer than this. There is something about Cleopatra and the length that enhances the experience, and also like the trajectory of the story. The first half being about the rise of Julius Caesar, and then the second half being Mark Antony just living in Caesar's shadow and being miserable and like depressed. There's something about that being the second half when you're like, okay, how much longer is in this movie? And everything's kind of going south. I thought it was a great movie. I'm not gonna lie. I will say it's boring. It's a boring movie, but I think that you should watch boring movies. I think not everyone. You know what? There's plenty of people who live fulfilling lives, and for them, movies are just entertainment, as they should be. But I think that movies can and should do much more than just entertain you. And if your threshold for watching something is like, well, it can't be boring, you're going to miss out on many, many experiences that are very worthwhile when it comes to movies. So that would be my biggest criticism, is it's boring. But if that's my biggest criticism of it, other than that, it's a great movie. The sets are insane. Some of the scenes are bonkers, crazy. I don't think Elizabeth Taylor is doing phenomenal acting for the most part. I think that she has a few good scenes. She has a few good lines. I mean, she's got great looks that she gives. Some of her line deliveries, I was just like, oh my God, like that. It's either bone chilling or heartwarming. So I think that like the heart of her as a performer is there. It's just maybe the script isn't great, and no shade to Joe Mankiewicz, because he told them that it wasn't ready and they still had him do it. So all things considered, this is a great movie. And I think that if you sat someone down and they didn't know anything about the behind the scenes, I think that they would take the movie a little bit better. But yeah, what about you?
I didn't watch this all in one sitting. So I watched over the course of 3 days, and I just treated it as like watching 3 episodes of a television show.
Mm-hmm.
And that made sense in my head. Obviously, I'm biased because I formed this obsession with Elizabeth Taylor. So I think anything she's in, I'm going to be fully captivated by. And I was very captivated by her. And
Mm-hmm.
it is boring, but I was not bored. And I just couldn't take my eyes off of her and the costumes and her makeup and her as an individual. I say that all to say, like, if you didn't have that going into it, you might not feel the same way. Like, if you are someone who likes movies on history, Seth and I also off mic, we talked about, like, is this historically accurate?
Yeah.
It does follow the events that
I was
happened.
shocked. I was shocked at how historically accurate it is. There's some things that they leave out and some things that are a little bit different, but I was like, wow, this is much, much closer than I would have expected it to be.
Right. And so, depending on how you feel about that, you might not really be into this. But I also feel like this is a great movie. And if you keep in mind too, obviously, it's 1963. There's no CGI, and the stuff. Some of the scenes that we're seeing are all practical, and it is mind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
Her entrance into Rome is like
Yeah, it's
insane.
wild.
Her barge, it's so opulent. But I couldn't help but laugh. The movie starts. We have an overture for 2 minutes and 29 seconds.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, this movie is okay. We are over 4 hours. Maybe we could cut the overture.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We also get an intermission too, which made me laugh. But Ant didn't watch this with me, sadly. But I told him about the overture, and he was like, "Well, I think maybe it like sets the mood. It sets you up for what
Yeah,
you're getting
absolutely.
into."
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, for sure." Rex Harrison, talk to me about him. Have you seen him in anything else? What'd you think about him as Julius Caesar, since he's really the first main person we meet in
Right.
this movie?
So I've seen him in this film called Blythe Spirit,
Mm-hmm.
directed by David Lean, the great David Lean. And then I've seen him in this, but I thought he was great. I really liked him as Julius Caesar. I thought he was funny. I thought he was threatening. Like, I believed that this person had the weight and charisma to be like, hey, name me dictator, and then maybe also name me dictator for life.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I got a kick out of him when after the battle of Pharsalus and he goes to meet Ptolemy, which King Ptolemy
Oh my God.
just unexpected cat though at
Yes.
1158
Yes.
on
Yes.
Ptolemy's lap. Ptolemy's right-hand man, who I didn't get his name, but he's going off. He's like giving Julius Caesar all of Ptolemy's names. And then Julius Caesar responds with, and I am blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. Very funny. I thought
Right.
that was very
Yes.
funny.
Yes. Yeah. Ptolemy sucks, man.
I
He's such a
know.
little dweeb,
I know.
and it's pretty dark, because they behead the dude that Caesar is looking
Pompey.
for.
Yeah.
Yes. And he's just like, hey, you like this, right? And Caesar's like, no, actually, but okay, whatever, you psycho boy.
Psycho boy. Yeah. And I love the introduction of Cleopatra
Mm-hmm.
wrapped up in the carpet.
We've all been there.
We've all been there. And she calls him out. She's trying to tell him like what's going on with Ptolemy, also takes a look at his plans and the maps, and she's making comments. She's proving her smarts. And at this point, Caesar's like, you're a child. I'm not going to take you seriously. But also, ooh, she's right. I think I kind of do have to start listening to her.
It's a really great introduction scene, and you start to get the tit for tat that it's like the relationship is like an escalation of like hey, I'm going to kind of challenge you on one thing. And then the other person's like, but I'm also going to help you. And so it doesn't just start out where she presents herself and says, let's have a kid together and let's unite our kingdoms. There's an escalation of power and then concessions, and they see each other's smarts and strengths. And I think it should have been its own movie.
I agree with you. I agree. You liked Rex Harrison as Julius Caesar. Did you feel him and Elizabeth Taylor had chemistry for these two characters?
I do, but not necessarily romantic. I mean, when she's saying like, "Oh, you're saying you can do whatever you want to me" or whatever, like that was a romantic scene. But no, I really just saw them as like two smart people who can use each other, and they're both like, let's use each other.
I started listening to and reading stuff about Cleopatra, the real Cleopatra. And it's interesting because there's really not a lot on her, and we really don't know that much about her. But what I kept hearing over and over is that it's kind of up for discussion of whether or not she actually loved these two men, or if she was just kind of not using them, but it was a beneficial mutual exchange of power and what we could get out of what we need from each other.
Yeah. I mean, love and romance, of course, have always existed, but you know, the idea that we have of like the nuclear family and like love and marrying for love, these are not necessarily governing forces in the lives of rulers of country in the ancient world.
Right.
So, you know, if Cleopatra is like, okay, yeah, me and Julius Caesar are going to have a kid together, you know, that's not necessarily a romantic thing, but
it's like a strategic move.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. We'll get to Cleopatra and her entrance into Rome. But what did you think about the way we saw Caesar murdered on the Ides of March? It was silent.
It's silent. Yeah, it's like not quite a cutaway. It's faded in. I didn't love it, to be honest, and it was kind of a bummer, I feel like, for Rex Harrison.
I agree.
And he's giving this good performance, and then you do his death scene as like not an afterthought, but as something being told to Cleopatra or whatever. And
from the high priestess.
Yeah, and I didn't like it. I didn't like that they did that.
Yeah. That might have been a change I would have made.
Yeah. Wait, I want to ask you. I was so confused for such a large part of this movie because Cleopatra is on the run because of her brother Ptolemy. Mm-hmm. He's like, I don't want to rule with you. I just want to rule. So you're away. She comes in the rug. She's unfurled. And she's like, all right, now I'll be over in my chambers. Isn't she like on the run from Ptolemy? Because Ptolemy's still around for a while.
Yeah.
Is the palace just that big that like no one notices Cleopatra's back?
I was also confused about this. I don't know. So their father wanted them both to rule together, but at the time a woman couldn't rule by herself. And so he knew Ptolemy, well, I mean, there was multiple kids in real life. Like Cleopatra had multiple siblings.
Yeah, she had a lot of siblings and killed them all, except for her younger sister.
Right.
Yeah, but, which they leave out of the movie, I think, because they want you to like Cleopatra.
Correct. Right. And so for this sake, right, like Ptolemy's kind of ruling, but he's stupid. And so I don't know if she just runs away because she's like, I'm not going to be bothered. And then she comes back and Ptolemy can't really touch her because even though she's choosing not to rule with him.
Well, so Caesar at this point, Julius Caesar, he's part of what's called a triumvirate, which is, you know, three people are ruling over all of the different parts of the Roman Empire, because Rome was not just limited to Italy. They've got their fingers, you know, at this point, they are the world power who's governing most of the known world, right? And Julius Caesar was named like, you know, the person in charge of Cleopatra and her brother. Mm-hmm. And so when he shows up, I think, his presence, I think Ptolemy's like, I can't really kill her because Caesar's right here and he'll kill me, or I don't know what, but yeah, like I don't know if I just missed that detail, but I kept thinking like, Cleopatra, you're just like in the bath, like,
yeah,
I don't get it.
Yeah, and also maybe there was more to that got cut.
It's about right.
Because there was a scene where we do see Cleopatra in her own. I think she runs up wherever she ran off to. That was supposed to be her first scene. And obviously that's not her first scene because her first scene is wrapped up in the carpet.
Right.
So
yeah, anything that Michelle and I don't remember, we're just gonna blame on it being cut.
Well, I think that's true though. I think a lot of stuff did get cut.
Yeah. Oh no, I agree.
Elizabeth Taylor as Cleopatra, as you said, you didn't think it was like the greatest performance, but she did a good job. What were the scenes that you felt were some of her strongest?
I love her on the barge. I love this bizarre game that she's playing with Antony. I mean, when, Bacchus comes out during the performance and then there's like a Cleopatra lookalike.
Yeah.
Was this not like disturbing to you?
So disturbing.
There's something like primordial. There's something happening in that sequence that like I can't put my finger on. When this scene happens, right? Cleopatra has declared to Mark Antony, who was one of Caesar's generals put in charge while Caesar's away, really important guy. And, now Mark Antony is like, he's also grabbing for power and he's trying to get things done. And she says like, I'm not going to meet with you unless it's on Egyptian soil.
I just want to chime in here because this is where Rufio became my favorite, portrayed by Martin Landau, because he has to go back and forth. And I was like, poor Rufio.
Poor Rufio.
To be like, hey, Cleopatra, Mark Antony wants to meet. And she's like, only on Egyptian soil. And Mark Antony's, no, make it on this. And it's like, oh, Rufio's exhausted.
Yep. I felt bad for Rufio. And I heard someone say that Martin Landau was like not good in this role, but I actually thought that he gave a really good furrowed brow glare.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not all that there is to the performance, but like as the person watching everything happening who's just like, this is crazy. Like these people are nuts. I thought that he was really good. But yeah, so she comes in on this ship and he's like, okay, well, tell her to come meet me. And she's like, no, you have to come on my ship. And so there's this power struggle and it's not necessarily playful. Like it's really like who will yield to the other one. So he comes onto this ship and then this odd thing plays out before them and he kind of like loses his mind. He goes and takes Bacchus's crown and then kisses the Cleopatra lookalike.
He's so drunk at this point too, and he's also so bothered. And this was like a very strategic choice on Cleopatra. Of her necklace is gold coins,
all made of Caesar.
Yeah, and the coins of his face on all the coins, and this drove Mark Antony crazy.
Yeah. So I thought that she was like great in that scene. Like to me, that was like almost the scene of the movie acting wise. She doesn't do anything, but the entrance to Rome,
oh my God,
is great.
Which also blew my mind. They attempted to film this like 6 months prior, and because of weather and a bunch, like what was it, like 70,000 they lost, so they had to refilm it 6 months. I mean, imagine doing this scene twice. Is what I'm getting at.
No,
what I'm getting.
I wouldn't. I'd be like, oh, we don't have this scene anymore. Sorry, guys.
It's crazy.
Sorry, our 7-hour movie will be a little bit shorter,
But yeah, what an entrance.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to pick a favorite scene, but on the barge, Mark Antony says a fabulous feast. And she says, one is so limited when one travels by ship.
Yes.
And then later on with her and Antony with the you will kneel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
That's probably, and
anytime she's on the throne with her two little scepters, I really bought that. And it feels like Cleopatra, the character, is putting on this persona. And I bought all of those. I feel like sometimes in the intimate moments, Elizabeth Taylor is more like doing a contemporary type performance.
Yeah.
But the Neil thing is awesome.
It's so good. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. One of the legends of her and Mark Antony is, did you hear about this? Dissolving the pearl?
Yes, I did.
So she apparently, the real Cleopatra, apparently, while drinking with Mark Antony and some other people, took a pearl that would pay for like 10,000 Roman soldiers for a year or something like that, and like dissolved it in vinegar and drank it. Just because she could. Like, that's how rich she was.
What a move.
Mm-hmm. It's like lighting a cigar with $100 bill.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But times, 10,000.
Cleopatra ends up taking her own life after she finds out that Mark Antony has been killed, and also Octavian killed her son.
Mm-hmm.
And so she poisons herself. What do you think about her final scene with this and her final scene with Mark Antony?
I didn't think it was great.
Did you not think it was great because of like how it went down, or her performance?
No, I just didn't think her performance throughout this sequence was great.
Richard Burton. You've seen Virginia, very tan. Wears a very short toga that I couldn't stop looking at. And I'm like, and I kept looking at him, and I'm like, they're all wearing short togas, but to me, his seemed the shortest. You've seen him in Virginia Woolf.
I've seen him in Virginia Woolf. I've seen him in 1984.
Okay.
And then this. So yeah, not many movies.
He was a theater actor. He's an interesting dude of what I've read about him. A drunk.
Yeah.
Has an affair pretty much with every woman he works with, except for Julie Andrews.
Yes. Yep.
What'd you think? Mark Antony?
Mark Antony was my favorite part of this movie.
Really?
Uh-huh. I felt whatever Richard Burton and Joe Mankiewicz decided, for this character, he's the tragic character. He's the back end of a tragedy. I mean, right? So if we divide all stories into comedy and tragedy, this is a tragedy. This is the tragedy of Cleopatra.
Yeah.
It's a story of her literally losing every family member that she has, losing her empire. In real life, Cleopatra was the last pharaoh. And look, folks, if you're out there saying, of course, everyone knows that, guess who didn't know that? Me. I never put that together. But she's the last pharaoh because after that, Egypt goes under Roman rule. And, the age of the pharaoh is over. So as a tragedy, like, I feel like he bears so much of that. And I loved this performance. It's like, he's just the most depressed, sad guy. Like, nothing really works out. He has to go marry
Octavian.
the sister. Octavian, yeah. And Cleopatra's just like, well, this guy's dead to me.
I mean,
yeah, I loved it. I thought he was. I think that he's the best performer. Actually, I don't think he's the best performance in the movie, but I very much enjoyed him.
Who do you think is the best performance?
Roddy McDowell.
Yeah.
Do you think so too?
It's a good performance. It's a good performance because it made me so annoyed with him. Octavian,
But he changes over the course of the movie.
Yes.
He becomes more... Like, when you first meet him, he's like Ptolemy. It's like, who's this guy who can't get out of bed?
Right.
But then he's got a stomach ache, so he doesn't have to go to battle. And then by the end, when he is like in there with Cleopatra and he's like, we've taken your city and you're going to come back to Rome and walk around in chains.
Yep.
I'll see you later. I'm like, wow. Roddy McDowell rules. Like,
yeah,
love him. One of the great voices of all time, I think. He's my favorite in this movie.
He had such a close relationship with Elizabeth Taylor off screen. And she talks about him in the doc, and he's in the doc too, the one that I watched, and just hearing his voice and their relationship, and he sounds like he was very loyal to her, and she was very loyal to him too.
Good.
But yeah, I liked Richard Burton, but he was just and he did a good job. He did a good job as Mark Antony, and you are right, this is the tragedy. And he's just always living in the shadow, you know? And then the whole miscommunication when we're fighting at sea, and Elizabeth thinks he left because that's what she was told. And then he didn't actually leave. And then he's just like, "Ee!" And I'm like, oh my goodness. Men. Come on now.
Well, correct. Yes, men, correct. And it's funny because all of the movies that we've done this month are about men that just fold in the presence of the leading lady, whether it be a Cowardly Lion or King George, the pimp from Coffee, or anyone in this movie with Cleopatra. I loved, God, that was maybe one of my favorite scenes, is when Mark Antony is like trying to get someone to kill him.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
You know what that's like? That's like when you're walking through New York City and you're jaywalking and you're like, hit me. Come on, car. I dare you to hit me. What are you going to do? You going to hit me? Come on. I'm walking. You know? And it's like, for a moment, you're like, I don't even care. I will sue you or I'll be dead. But I'm walking across this street. Anyway, I love that. I mean, that's just like, God. All he wants, because he's a soldier. He's not a leader like Caesar was, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, I would have taken it further, though. I would have just started attacking Caesar and made them kill me, you know?
Yeah. He thinks when he gets back to Cleopatra's palace, thinks she's dead. And so he's going to kill himself. And I love that he goes to stab himself and he goes, I always envied Rufiel's long arms.
Yep.
But then he stabs himself and Apollodorus is like, wait, JK.
Right. Because he reveals, and I thought that was a great little wrinkle. He says to Cleopatra, he's like, I've always loved you.
Yeah.
And she says, and I have always known. Is this where George Lucas rips off Han Solo and Leia? I love you. I know.
I know. Right?
But I thought that was a really good little wrinkle. And then, like this dude lets him stab himself and he's like, oh, God, I shouldn't have. Sorry, I didn't think you'd actually go through with it. Yeah.
She's in her
I'll take you to see her right now.
Yeah. But I liked his scene there. And then he's brought and dies in Cleopatra's arms, and one kiss will take my breath away.
That I also thought that was a really good line. Like, Mankiewicz is able to get these lines in there if they had given him time to work this out, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I kept thinking of you because you are such a romantic, as I've discovered from doing this show with you. So I'm like, I wonder what Seth thinks about this final scene with this line here.
I thought it was great.
Yeah, of course you did. I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so Roddy McDowell as Octavian. He might have, I know I keep saying I have like my favorite line, but when he is told that Mark Antony is dead and he recites, the soup is hot, the soup is cold, Antony is living, Antony is dead, and continues on.
Is it as easy as that?
Fantastic.
It's so good. And then he's like, and then he yells it. He's like, it must be yelled. Mark Antony is dead.
Wow.
He starts out as just such a little dweeb.
Yeah.
And then goes up to like, actually, I'm Caesar now. I'm like, you're not Caesar. I knew Caesar. You're not Caesar. He's like, I'm taking the name.
You will call
I'm
me
going to be
Caesar.
the new Caesar. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, you believe it. Like I fully buy him as like the overarching bad guy of the movie. Yeah. And like, that's why it sucks that, we kind of didn't get this in 2 parts. You make each movie 2.5 hours. That's a 5-hour runtime. You give everyone a little bit more to breathe. And
one of the things Elizabeth Taylor talks about, and I'm curious if you heard this as you consumed some stuff about her outside of Cleopatra, is that she wanted to be looked at and recognized as an actress and not a movie star. She wanted to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
But also the roles that she chose, well, some roles.
Yeah.
If she was told not to do them and if she liked it, she still did it anyway. Regardless if maybe it wasn't like the role of a lifetime.
Right.
And I just always found that so interesting about her as well. Of like she wanted to be known as an actress and not a movie star, like known for her craft. She also never thought of herself as like this beautiful sex goddess. She's like, I'm a woman and I'm proud to be a woman, but no, I'm not this sex object that you look at me as.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that one of the interviews that I listened to with her, much like Judy Garland, she's with MGM as a child.
Yep.
She's a child actress. She's going to school on the lot. This is all that she knows. And she described it as like, yeah, I got to be in movies, but I was just playing myself. And when she meets Montgomery Clift, the actor, she says that she learned for the first time, like, what being an actor was. And it was her observing him where she was like, oh, that's what I want to do. I don't want to just show up and like be myself or be like a pretty person or like a funny kid. I want to actually like devote myself to the craft of acting. And so it makes sense. It makes sense because I think she saw her career as different after meeting him and observing him. And she had already been a movie star. So that's probably, not to put words in her mouth, but maybe that's what she saw as the distinction. Is like, I've been a movie star and I've made tons of money and I've been in front of the camera, but I want to be an actor.
Yeah.
Okay, a few quick things before we finish.
Yeah.
When Cleopatra is like in the bath or like she's getting massaged and she's like pretty much completely naked, and I think it's Caesar who walks in and she says, "Oh, it's you." I was like, that's a power move. I can't remember who says this line, if it was Caesar or Mark Antony, but it's, "What happens at dawn? I thought you knew. The sun comes up."
That was Julius Caesar with Agrippa.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's really, really funny. And then when someone tries to poison Cleopatra and her food taster is in on it, and she says, "Please forgive me." And Cleopatra says, "I forgive you. Now drink it." That was another really good line from Taylor.
One of my favorite lines that we haven't said is between Antony and Rufio. And Antony says, "Queens, queens, strip them naked as any other woman. They are no longer queens." And Rufio says, "It is also difficult to tell the rank of a naked general. Generals without armies are naked indeed."
Yep.
And I was just like, yes, Rufio.
Yes.
I feel like I would be the Rufio. In this like world, I would be the one that would challenge, but also be the messenger and the one that was supposed to wake you up. That would be me.
Right.
I am
just
Rufio.
Holding your tongue until it's like, all right, well.
Yes. There's this whole discussion if Cleopatra was a successful movie. Was it a good movie? We both say and think it's a good movie. And it did turn a profit. It was the highest grossing film in 1963. And then in 1966, it broke even when Fox sold the broadcast rights to ABC for $5 million.
Yep. Can I interject one quick thought there?
Yeah.
Yeah. The only reason that this had difficulty, and it's the same problem that we see today. Of course, it's hard to turn a profit even when you're the highest grossing movie of the year, when your budget is so out of whack.
Right.
And so if they had just taken their time and done it right and said, we lost our sets in California, we lost our sets in England, guess what? We're not losing our sets in Italy. We're giving Joe Mankiewicz a year. Everyone go off and do your different projects. We will reconvene when it's right. The buck stops here. We're making a movie. And they wouldn't do it. So when everyone complains that, the latest Marvel movie only made $250 million and we're supposed to feel bad, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
I do not feel bad that you have all forgotten how to make a movie for a reasonable amount of money.
Yeah.
And at the time, like, people who saw it and they're like, this isn't very good. All of the behind the scenes craziness that they'd been hearing about for years, by the way, years at this point. It's similar to Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis, which was just so publicly, Francis Ford Coppola is selling wine out of his own vineyard to raise the money for this movie to make it the way that he wants. You have all that going into watching the movie. Now, Megalopolis is a challenging film. I enjoyed it, but it's a challenging movie. So when you go into it, I can't imagine Cleopatra getting a fair shake in 1963. I just can't.
Right. I know. I mean, like I was watching this doc about the movie. I don't know if this was in the doc I sent you, Seth, because I've consumed so much, but the marketing that went into it and then the post-marketing of hair care companies were now going to have the hairstyle of Cleopatra and makeup companies and like the style. And so that like played a part of it. But then you have on the other hand, like the Vatican during production gets involved and the Vatican paper goes out and slams Elizabeth Taylor for
condemns their relationship,
but it's Elizabeth Taylor's fault for splitting up the marriage, not Richard Burton. And so, yeah, there's just so much. And then it wins Academy Awards for Best Art Direction, Best Cinematography, Best Visual Effects, and Best Costume. However, and then this just like fits with all of it. Roddy McDowell was submitted for Best Actor. But he should have been submitted for Best Supporting Actor. And because they can't change it, he couldn't be submitted and recognized. And so it's just like, that's just like the tiny little cherry on top of the mess of this production.
Right. Almost as if the people at Fox didn't know what they were doing.
Oh. All right. So like we said, the budget for this film in the end, 40 million plus.
20 times its original budget.
Correct. Box office earnings, 57.8 million. Rotten Tomatoes, this has a 56 rating. 3.5 on Letterboxd.
Okay.
60 on Metacritic. It is not a part of the Criterion Collection nor in the National Registry.
That is astounding.
Right?
The Criterion part, like, okay,
But
whatever.
the National
How many
Registry?
have they put out? Like, over 1,000, but there's a lot of movies out there. But this not being in the National Registry, I am shocked at that.
And like, I looked this up multiple times. I didn't like trust myself that it wasn't coming up.
Right.
Because I'm like, how could that be?
Right. Wow. I've never, because you can submit your own nominees.
I've
never done one. Oh yeah. It's the Library of Congress, so you can nominate movies.
Wow.
For the first time ever, I might
this
make
is
a
the
submission
one?
And say, this is one of the Hollywood epics.
Yeah. And then production days, 3 years. But like, honestly, when you think about it more, because this really started in 1958, like the idea of it, mess. Let's go into our happies and crappies.
It's time for happies and crappies. Happies and crappies. It's time for happies and crappies. Happies and crappies. It's time for happies and
Seth,
crappies.
what were your happies and crappies for Cleopatra?
So my happy would be Roddy McDowell. I think that he's sprinkled in just the right amount. We've got two sides to a massive sandwich with Caesar and Mark Antony, Cleopatra, and then just perfectly seasoned with Roddy McDowell. So he's definitely my favorite. My crappy is like probably, the depiction of the African dancers in the welcome scene.
Eek.
And that they painted the actors
I know.
darker.
Yikes.
That's going to be a no-go from me.
My happy is in the beginning. When Cleopatra is spying on Julius Caesar.
Oh, yeah.
She's spying through a stained glass window of an eye, and there's a little hole, and you just see her eye within the eye.
It's great.
I very much enjoyed that. And then my crappy is I wish we had the 6-hour cut.
Wow. Insane.
I can't believe I'm saying it.
Okay. Now, this is another thing that I said to you this week. If I didn't know that this was such a troubled production, does the movie bear that out? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I think it's pretty astounding, actually. That 10 minutes of footage that you mentioned at the beginning from England, they didn't use any of it.
I know.
So, I don't know. I think it's pretty astounding what they pulled off.
I can't wrap my head around it, to be honest with you.
So we asked some friends on the internet what they thought. And, no one thinks anything about this movie, apparently, except for... Now, we've been making fun of this troubled production all along. Well, listeners, we got to tell you, we were going to have an awesome guest for this episode. And unfortunately, due to scheduling and her demanding $1 million and 10% of the gross from
of our
episode,
Patreon earnings.
Right. She couldn't make it, but our great friend, Felicia, did send us an email of her thoughts. So I'm going to read that here. She says, "Hey friends, Cleopatra thoughts below. I hate to be that person. Actually, no, I don't, because I believe in this with my full heart, but they truly don't make films like they used to." And I just want to say Felicia has seen more old movies than anyone I know, so she's the only one who's allowed to say that. Anyway, she continues. "I mean, the drama behind this production is still discussed today, specifically the amount of money that went into it, but every film now costs millions of dollars, and most of them aren't actually trying to create a piece of art. I may be biased because I love Liz Taylor, like she was my own mother, and I think her chemistry with Richard Burton is enough to watch this film alone. I want to put this on record that I think Cleopatra is a masterpiece, and it's worth every minute of its 3-hour and 53-minute runtime. Let directors be excessive again."
Thank you, Felicia.
Thank you very much. And she's got a great point. Like, a lot of money goes into stuff, and of course it's art and it's an artistic expression, but this is something. This is a piece.
This is a huge
I was trying
piece.
so hard to pay attention to all the details of all the sets.
I know.
I kind of was like, "Yo, Richard Burton, move."
I know.
Move.
Scoot.
I want to see that, like, bronze seraphim behind you, and like I want to see all of the art and the statues and all of the stuff that they made. Everything here was made, and yeah.
Like the idea of all the access and just controlling that amount of people
I can't.
overwhelms me. Like
Yeah.
thousands and thousands of extras, not knowing if they're going to cooperate, because if Italy is upset with Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton's affair, and they do cooperate, but it's just it hurts my head. And then all of them in costume, and it's just. But thank you, Felicia.
It does. It does hurt your head. Yes, thank you, Felicia.
Thank you. Let's go to our segment of the show where we hear from people that we don't know. It's called Half Star, 3-Star, 5-Star. Half Star, 3-Star, 5-Star. These are reviews from Letterboxd.com, which is an app and website where you can log, rate, and review movies. We start with a half-star review, which is the lowest rating you can give a movie, and we go all the way up to a 5-star review, which is the highest rating you can give a movie. And Seth is going to read our half-star review. On the show, he reads it in an accent, an impersonation. Seth, are you feeling inspired?
Because I'm so good at them.
You are so good at it. It's my happy
no,
of every episode.
That was a joke. No, I mean, I can't really, like, you know, I could just do like a random British guy, I guess, and pretend that it's Rex Harrison.
Yeah. Let's go over to our Wheel of Voices instead.
Wheel of Voices!
Okay, let's spin the wheel. Hey, Vito Corleone. Will you read our half-star review of Cleopatra from 1963?
I was just a little boy in Italy when they were making Cleopatra. Actually, no, wait. I think I died in like 1950. I can't remember when Vito dies, but all right, this is a half-star review for Cleopatra, read by Vito Corleone.
Okay, visually. Okay,
Yeah,
I know you guys can't see this, but this sounds like
to do Vito. Like I have to I have to have like no neck.
He's doing Robin Williams as a hot dog for Mrs. Doubtfire right now.
Yeah. I genuinely think that you could remove this film from existence and it would only be a net positive. Genuinely the most boring, nothing film ever made, and it's 4 hours long. What a piece of beep! Fox should have went bankrupt. There is absolutely nothing of value to be gained by watching this film.
Wow.
Half-star.
Thank you, Vito. There's absolutely nothing of value to be gained by watching this film.
I disagree. Like, I mean, at least you're going to see some grandiose filmmaking.
Right.
And at best, you're going to learn how not to make a movie and realize that you don't shoot without a script. There's a lot to gain from this experience.
3-star review says, amazing how much grander this seemed when I was little and saw chunks of it on the old tube TV. On HD widescreen, it's obvious that Cleopatra Palace is a soundstage and Rome is a backlot, and the acting is so wooden you can't feel much for the characters. I was genuinely terrified when Cleopatra made the servant drink poison. Watching again, it felt so fake, but still beautiful to behold.
Interesting.
Yes.
I didn't find most of it to be wooden. I wouldn't say that.
I didn't either.
Yeah, it's poetic.
5-star review. Cleopatra's arrival in Rome might be one of the greatest scenes ever put on film.
Wow.
It's just outrageously gigantic, and then a lot of exclamation points. Now, I finally understand why this movie almost bankrupted the studio. The set design, costumes, and sheer number of extras are insane. Whenever anyone talks about an epic, this is the film that will always come to my mind from now on. A masterpiece like this will never be made again. Truly one of a kind. 5 stars. I mean, I think that is true.
It's tough to say if a studio would be willing to make a movie on this scale, this practically.
Right.
So much would be CGI, crowds, people, extras, sets, aspects of sets. So it's possible that we have passed the point of a movie of this scale being made. And that's sad. That's a bummer.
Yeah, just taking that all in.
On that depressing thought.
On that note, let's see how we did. We rate a movie as a movie, or film. We also rate it 1 to 5 stars and give our final thoughts and recommendations. Seth, did you win last week? I think you did.
I did. Yep.
Okay. So for you, I wrote down 4-star film.
Very good.
Get out of here!
Yeah, very good.
Awesome.
You know, there's parts of this movie that just hold it back from being like a movie that is really special to me. So like 4.5, 5 stars. Like I can't give it those things just out of respect. But to me, this is just because of craftsmanship and scale. I'm sorry, like this is at least a 4-star movie. And if I were to watch it again, maybe I would be more interested. I mean, I am interested in the story. I was very impressed at how historically accurate it is. Like all this stuff for the most part happened. That's crazy. And I loved, like I'm very glad that you picked this movie. I'm really glad that I got to experience it and then spend the last like week and a half trying to learn everything that there is to learn about it. Like this was a very good and I feel like educational experience, but one that I really enjoyed. Like I enjoyed seeing this and like in relation to the other two movies that we did, where Wizard of Oz we talked about, that's the biggest example of studio movie making and meddling. And then Coffee, which is the opposite. It's, that's the whole new era of American filmmaking, and Cleopatra kind of stands in the middle of those two things. So yeah, I thought that this was good. I recommend this. If you have not seen this movie, this is now one that I would say, like, if you want a better grasp of American film history, yeah, you definitely have to watch this movie. And it's good. It's good. It's boring and it's good. Okay, for you, I wrote down what I rated the movie, which is a 4-star film.
That's what I rated it too.
Very cool. All right.
Double
We both get a
pickles.
pickle. Yeah.
Awesome.
Double pickle.
Double pickle. I am so glad I watched this movie. And I'm so glad that it fit into our month, so we got to talk about it. But I'm also grateful for you to committing your time to watch this and go on this journey with me, because I knew I wanted to watch it at some point, but I just didn't know when.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so glad I got to see Elizabeth Taylor act in a movie that's not the Flintstones, but now I will go on and watch more of her work. And, what fascinates me about myself, and this might sound, that's like a weird way to word it, but why I become obsessed with people and not necessarily their work. Like I became obsessed with her as the person and how she carried herself. She was in Little Women and she plays Amy. Mm-hmm. That was one of the next movies I was going to watch since we're getting into like Little Women season. But anyway, I am recommending this. I think this is a huge part of film history. And like, if you're into Hollywood gossip, this is like the perfect movie to watch and then consume all of the things afterwards.
It's a bottomless pit.
It really is. And it can make your head hurt. But if you're doing this as a hobby, it's a lot of fun and it's fun to talk about.
I consumed about 12 hours of documentaries and podcasts and then articles that I read. And I still feel like there's more.
Yeah. And I said this to Aunt too, and I said this about The Wizard of Oz. Why hasn't there been a televised series about the making of this movie like they did with The Offer for The Godfather?
Right.
Because this would be one that I would 100% want to watch. I don't know. Why aren't they doing that?
Because it would cost so much money to have 5,000 extras.
That's true. Does this movie pass the Seth Shell test? The Seth Shell test is our spin on the Bechdel test. The movie must contain something tangible that is impressive, whether choreography, production design, or a practical effect, and it must have a runtime that is justified by its content. I'm going with yes for this.
It's really crazy, but I'm also this test was born out of like, we wanted a 2-pronged approach. We did this after 2 years of podcasting. It was like, what are we always commenting on? We love practical effects and we hate runtimes that feel like they're just dragging on. And like I said, as I watched this, I was like, this is the movie that never ends. It just goes on and on. And I got to tell you, I would watch a 6-hour version. I would watch a 7-hour version. I would be bored half the time, but I would probably really enjoy it. So, yeah.
I mean, for me to say that you know? But again, like you said at the top of the show a long while ago, you have to chase what you're interested in.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I'm interested in it, sign me up for a 6-hour movie.
Right. Hey, if you're interested in us, guess what? You don't have to listen to a 6-hour episode, but you can leave us a rating and a review wherever you are listening. You can also send us an email. We love getting emails. We would love it if you sent us an email and told us what you dressed up as for Halloween, what you watch as you're getting into Little Women's season. Are you a Joe? Are you an Amy? Please, anything. Come on, folks.
Seth, what are you? We're both Joes. We talked about this, right?
Yeah.
We're both Joes.
We're the person who's like
makes you do the thing.
Well, it's like unless you can really match their energy, it's like maybe annoying to be around them because they want to make things happen and do things, and other people just want to, go to dances and have fun. And
Mm-hmm. Get married.
And we're like, but what are you doing with your life? Anyway. Hey, you can also support the show, patreon.com/moviefriendspodcast. Now, folks, we say this every episode, but let me break it down for you, okay? Patreon is a website. It's an app. You go there, you sign up, okay? You support this show. It's $5 a month. You sign up with a card, I don't know, your bank account, whatever.
Can I chime in?
Yeah.
If you choose to sign up, which we hope you do it from your web browser on your desktop.
Correct. Yes. If you do it through
the Patreon app,
it charges you more.
To give you a surcharge.
Okay. So don't do that. But go to patreon.com, search for Movie Friends Podcast. You sign up, $5 a month. You support the show. We use that to do our hosting, to do our website hosting. And guess what? We're using that money to make a movie. That's right, folks. We are in the process, just like Joe Mankiewicz, of writing a film. But we want to do it the right way. And we're going to write it before we start shooting. So, hey, if you like us and you like independent movies, this is a real easy way to support the making of one. You get access to all of our additional episodes. You get to join our patron-only Discord, which I got to tell you is a really nice, fun, cool place. I'm just going to say this. We get a couple more patrons, I'm jumping off social media. Like, I'm done. Like, I'll just hang out in Discord and talk to people.
I would also do that. If I could leave, that'd be great. I'll show up more in Discord.
Yeah. You also get to vote on upcoming movies every month and every quarter a monthly theme, and you get ad-free episodes. Oh my gosh. Wowie zowie. Patreon.com/moviefriendspodcast. We'll be eternally grateful, and we'll feel like we're not wasting our lives. We don't want to be Mark Antony.
We don't want to live with regret.
Okay. Hey, speaking of the benefits that you get when you sign up as a patron, next week, rounding out our series on 20th century women, our patron voted movie. I am shocked. I'm shocked. We got so many great submissions. Great. All-time great movies submitted this month.
But one came in with more votes than any of the others. And I gotta tell you, I'm surprised, but then I shouldn't be because every month the patrons always surprise me.
Me too.
Like, it's unbelievable.
Every month, as the submissions come in, one will come in and I'll see it and I'll say, oh, that's the, and I'll say to you, like, oh, this movie, X movie just got submitted. There's no way it's not going to win. So prepare yourself because we're going to do this movie.
And Seth is wrong every month.
Time. Yeah.
Every single month, Seth is wrong.
Yeah. But you know what? We're jumping forward in time a little bit to the mid-90s.
A lot of it. I'd say a lot of it.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited. This is a movie that I've wanted to do for a long time. We're going to be talking about Matilda from 1996. Ever hear of it?
I have heard of it.
Directed by Danny DeVito. Ever hear of him?
DeVito devotee.
Yeah, man. I mean, we'll save it for next week, but what is there to say?
You'll have to tune in and see.
Matilda, Movie Friends, it's happening at last. And this will be our last official episode of the year. We're ending our third season, 2025. We're ending it on Matilda.
Unbelievable.
But I love that. I think that's great.
Oh, me too. I am so thankful that we're doing Matilda. Trust me.
We've done our homework, okay? Oh. We checked off our little cinephile boxes. And Matilda is bringing us home.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Seth.
Thank you for all the work. Oh my gosh.
You too. I feel this was double team this week. I really do.
Yeah. We.
I think you asked me last week how I was feeling, and I just was like, I'm so overwhelmed, and emojis. I was like, I feel like this is a double team effort. Oh, there's so much. But
yeah, normally for an episode, it's like, all right, whoever's hosting, we don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
But this one was a little more planned.
And you know what's funny? I wonder if 5 people will listen, and then I'll be like, all of that was just for us.
Yeah, please. That's all it's ever for.
I know. That's true. That's true.
Well, hey, thank you very much for listening wherever you are. And remember, folks, how strangely awake I feel, as if living had been just a long dream. Till next week, when we're talking about Matilda, thank you for listening. Have a good one.
Movie Friends is produced by Seth Vargas and Michelle Rubenstein. Theme music by Jean Marie Vargas. Visit us at our website, moviefriendspodcast.com, and please subscribe and rate our show wherever you are listening. You can support Movie Friends at patreon.com/moviefriendspodcast. Thanks for listening.